Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here. And today we are going to be discussing Cardano and going over some of the recent events that have taken place. I've had a lot of questions over the past week, which is very expected in regards to everything going on with the SEC, specifically in relation to Cardano. We know the price of Cardano has had a pretty negative reaction to all this. We got news today, actually, that Robinhood were going to delist not just Cardano, but MATIC and Solana. Also, cloud of uncertainty prompts Robinhood to nix ADA, MATIC, and Solana. The US brokerage firm on Friday said no other coins are affected, adding that your crypto is still safe on Robinhood. I think they've given them until the 26th of, could be June, this month perhaps, to do something with what's on that platform. I remember when we got delisted from eToro, and it was seen as this really big deal. And actually it turned out to not be that much of a big deal at all. I think that's kind of what's going on with Robinhood. We'll look at, again, what the complaints were, what the SEC is implying. We had IOG come out and respond to this. Of course, we had Charles Hoskinson's Why We Fight video, which is what I want to play a bit of a clip from. And I also want to give it a brighter perspective, perhaps, on all of this in regards to a silver lining. Just because on the face of this, you've had the SEC come out and, in my opinion, some people will disagree with me, and that's totally fine, insinuate that Cardano is a security because of three organizations, the Cardano Foundation, IOHK, and Emergo, being at the center of it, giving it this centralized aspect and maybe viewing it as passing the Howey test as a result of that. That does not mean that that's something that's legal. For now, it's their opinion. And just like in the XRP case, whether you like XRP or not, you need to pay attention to it because that's going to have huge ramifications, more so than ever now for the crypto industry, in regards to what way that goes. If they win that case, and in my opinion, you guys know we're massive fans of Francis Hunt. He's got some really good upside targets for the SEC that are technical. Sorry, not for the SEC, for XRP that are technical. Potentially, that could signify them winning the case. If we view upside on the technical side of things, significant upside, that's likely going to coincide with something going on that we don't yet know yet. The charts are the insider trader, essentially. But so just because they've accused Cardano of being a security, in my opinion, that doesn't make it so in the court. And Jim Bianco, forgive me for the butchering of his name, actually spoke about how he thinks the Howey test was created in 1946 by a court from a narrowly defined circumstance, selling interest in a grove of trees. Forcing this test on digital assets is beyond its intention. I expect the court will give a Howey test 2.0 for digital assets, and the SEC, Gensler, are not going to like it. I'm assuming that Coin is committed to getting a ruling and will not settle without admitting guilt and moving past this suit. So there is a real silver lining to all of this. Sometimes negative. You've all heard that proverb of the horse and the horse owner. And essentially, the horse runs off and everyone in the village comes up to him and says, this is a terrible, terrible thing that your horse has ran off. It was a beautiful horse. We're really sorry for you. We feel really sorry for you. And he said, maybe it's a bad thing. Maybe not. The horse comes back and they say, this is a great thing that your horse is back. And he says, maybe, maybe not. His son goes out to play with the horse, and the horse kicks him and breaks his leg. And the villagers come to him again and say, maybe, this must be a terrible thing. And he says, maybe. And then the country breaks out into war and they draft anybody over the age of 18. The, whatever you call it, sergeant comes around and to draft his son because he's too old at this point. And he can't go because he's got a broken leg. So a bad thing can often turn into a good thing, perhaps. So there are silver linings with this. It's not great on the face of it. Of course, the market emotionally, as always, will react to this. Cardano has been, I think, very much amongst the coins that were mentioned suffered as a result of all this. But for me, this hasn't really this sort of deterred me from Cardano at all. You know, I think actually more than likely you're potentially heading for some sort of a double bottom situation where you could have that slightly higher right butt cheek. That could be on the horizon now, I think. You know, most altcoins have done exactly what Cardano's done. They've rallied into resistance, just like Bitcoin did. Bitcoin's leading the pack. They're retracing. I thought Cardano stood a pretty good chance of coiling up here. However, of course, with the SEC news, it's done the opposite. Wrong on that call. We get things wrong all the time. But I do still believe that Cardano, with the rest of the market, we do analysis on the market generally, not just the crypto markets, stock market and everything. We assess that there's a broader uptrend now in place. And I don't think Cardano gets left out from that. And actually, this lawsuit could be the very thing that actually propels it. Because just like with XRP, if XRP get clarity or they win the lawsuit, that's not just a huge win for XRP, it's a huge win for the entire space. And it's likely going to do very well from a price point of view as a result of that. So hang in there, guys. Of course, we had IOHK, I believe. Or is this? So Cardano developer rejects SEC claims its ADA token is a security. Under no circumstances is ADA a security under US laws, IOG said in a release. Of course, this is the official press release from IOG. IOG responds to the recent SEC filings. IOG is aware of recent complaints by the SEC against Binance and Coinbase, which contain references to the organizations, the Cardano network, and Cardano's native tokens. The filing contains numerous factual inaccuracies and will not impact IOG's operations in any way. Under no circumstances, ADA under US securities laws. ADA is security under US securities laws. It never has been. Understanding how decentralized blockchains operate is a fundamental component in creating responsible legislation. IOG continues to welcome cross-industry collaboration with regulators to help develop framework which not only safeguards customers, but does not strive for innovation within the communities building decentralized protocols. The latest filing from the SEC demonstrates that we'll still have a long way to go in regards to this. Regulation through enforcement action does not provide either clarity or certainty, and which both the blockchain industries and customers are entitled to. By design, the blockchain is transparent, auditable, immutable, and fair. Absolutely. I think this is actually going to be a silver lining. I really do think that. I think that with anything, it's never great. But when the initial news breaks, there's always an emotional overreaction, I think, to the whole thing. However, this negative thing that we're currently going through with the SEC could very easily turn into a positive. That's my take on it. And again, I'll leave a link to this document if you scroll down and find the ADA section. It wasn't just Cardano. It spoke about a number of others, Cardano being the biggest, and they did reference it slightly more than others. Of course, I think bore the brunt of this, but it talks about a variety of different tokens like MATIC. They previously mentioned even things like Cosmos. Now, that's confusing as hell because if you understand Cosmos, you'll understand that the Cosmos token atom is only significant to the Cosmos hub. Cosmos is an entire ecosystem of cryptos. So let's move on. I want to play a clip of Charles Hoskinson now talking about everything, or talking about, the title of this is Why We Fight. And there's far more, even though we invest in this technology because we believe in it over the long term, as an investor, as a trader, this is how I make my living. We've identified that not just Cardano, but many cryptos we think are going to do well over the coming years. We think short term they're going to do well. We think, more mid to long term, there might be a little bit of turbulence. We still foresee an event coming that could be quite detrimental to many things. But past that, we think this technology is really going to change the world, and it's already starting to do so. So let's play this clip of Charles Hoskinson, and then I'll love and leave you as things have gone on for long enough. But I'll let Charles sort of give some of his thoughts. This was a video that I'll leave a link to a description that he posted called Why We Fight. Great video, as always. You know, one of the main reasons that I'm or was initially attracted to Cardano was because of Charles Hoskinson. I think he is a very much in line with the entire ethos of blockchain and why it was created in the first place. And he's really trying to further that with, of course, Cardano. So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then I'll love and leave you to your Fridays.
You see, it's a big decentralized ecosystem. It's chaotic at times. But, you know, people will come together because they believe that we have an opportunity to do things not just differently, but better than we did before. And not just with Cardano, but the industry as a whole. The tens of millions of people, the trillions of dollars, the enormity of what we have been able to accomplish as an industry in the last 13 years makes everyone pale in comparison and truly cannot be stopped. We will see a day where DIDs are the dominant way of identifying people, and you're in control of the keys, not a corporation or a government or a transnational body. We will see a day where when you have money in your wallet, you own that, not an IOU from an organization that at any time can take it from you for no particular reason, or you violated a particular policy or agenda. And we will see those who want to drag us into the past, who have authoritarian bends because they feel that they're better qualified to run your life and society than you are, return to the history books as yet another group of people that lost the political fight. Some days it's a hard road. Some days it's an easy road. We've had a lot of easy times recently, but I've been in it since the beginning, and I could tell you that there were some harder times. We're now in a phase where we do have to have our voices be heard, and we do have to remind people that this is a collective exercise as one gargantuan, decentralized, resilient, living organism that just wants to improve things. For our part, we write protocols, we write code, and our protocols and code that we design and develop goes into the public domain. People debate it. Some people adopt it, other people don't. We are one cog in a gigantic machine, and you are too. So I think our future is brighter than ever. I think that we have our best days ahead of us, and I honestly do believe that the lessons of the past, if we take wisdom from them, can be applied here.
I do believe in what he's saying there. Ultimately, you know, the best days for the entire industry, not just Cardano, I think are ahead of them. With any technological revolution that's come before us, this is always part of the process. Typically overzealous regulations, and then a more friendly framework, which I think we perhaps could be moving towards. Remember, we saw Gensler in front of Congress, and they were giving him a grilling. You know, he was getting accused of multiple things, negligence to say the least. And Jim Bianco's comment is very interesting in regards to the fact that he thinks a judge may look at this and say, okay, you need to maybe be a bit more specific with an outdated Howey test that you're trying to apply to a new technology that wasn't even envisioned, let alone around at the time that that test was created. So we'll see. I think this could be a big silver lining in regards to the fact that we don't know how all of this is going to play out. So far, it's claims that are being made. This stuff has to go to court. There has to be legal framework drafted up around it in order to class something as a security. None of that is yet enforceable. Just because the SEC is calling something a security, and we see the likes of Robinhood, as they would do, take precautions so that they don't get hounded by the SEC as a result of all this. That doesn't give clear definition, and actually this could very much go in our favor as well as against us. And I don't just speak for Cardano here, I speak for a number of the tokens that have been listed. Enjoy your Friday, guys. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Remember what's really going on here with the crypto industry. Yes, many of us are here as investors and speculators. I don't see a problem with that at all. People have done it for centuries. They're going to continue to do it, and it's how many people make a living. However, there is something going on with blockchain that is far more than just an investment. This technology is going to change the world socially, perhaps in the largest manner. Of course, finance is completely going to get revolutionized by this. Value itself is going to be redefined and put onto the blockchain. And that's a future that we get to enjoy. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed the content, like us, always appreciate it. So as a comment. See you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a fantastic Friday, guys.